Everyone talks about earning money, but few understand the invisible rules that govern it. Why do some men rise to power and wealth, while others work endlessly and stay poor? In this video, we'll uncover the brutal, unseen logic behind money, how it truly works, who controls it, and how you can play the game instead of being played by it. Most men believe wealth is the fruit of labor. They imagine that the harder they work, the richer they will become. They spend their lives running faster on a wheel that was built by someone else, never realizing that their effort only makes another man's empire stronger. The world does not reward effort, it rewards control. Wealth is never truly earned, it is captured, managed, and directed. It is not the product of sweat, but the consequence of structure. Look closely at the rich, and you will see that they do not chase money, they position themselves so that money must chase them. The builder works from dawn to dusk. The man who owns the land sleeps, yet grows wealthier each day. The craftsman sharpens his tools, the merchant sharpens his contracts. The employee counts hours, the strategist counts influence. In every age, this has been the same. Wealth flows upward toward those who create the systems others must obey. The illusion of fairness hides the machinery of control. To understand money, you must see beyond currency. Coins and notes are symbols, not sources. The true source of wealth is the ability to direct human behavior. A man who can shape the needs and desires of others will never be poor. The merchant who convinces you to crave what you don't need. The ruler who taxes what you can't avoid. The lender who profits from your urgency. These are the architects of wealth. They do not work harder than others, they make others work for them. Control, not labor, is the foundation. Consider the marketplace. It seems free, but it is built upon invisible strings. The powerful create scarcity, then sell abundance. They decide what is valuable and what is worthless. They determine which industries rise and which crumble. They control the gates through which others must pass to survive. Even when they lose, they do not fall. They have already designed the game to protect their position. They own the rules, and whoever owns the rules owns the rewards. This is why the idea of fair opportunity is a pleasing myth. The world does not pay the man who deserves it, it pays the man who demands it through structure. If you wish to understand how money truly works, stop asking how to earn more and start asking how to control the flow of what already exists. Money is not created in effort but in direction. The man who dictates the movement of capital, where it enters, where it stays, and where it exits, holds more power than the man who simply receives it. Those who control wealth understand that perception is their greatest asset. They appear generous, yet their generosity is always strategic. They lend not to help but to bind. They give opportunities not to uplift but to anchor dependence. When you accept their gift, you also accept their terms. This is the first rule of control. Never offer something for nothing. Every favor must return with interest, not only in money but in loyalty and obedience. The worker's gratitude becomes the master's security. Look at any great fortune, and you will find a system beneath it. Laws written, relationships cultivated, dependencies created. The common man dreams of independence, yet the rich man understands that independence is an illusion. Everyone depends on something. The question is who depends on you. The one who creates the dependence controls the outcome. A banker needs borrowers, a ruler needs subjects, a merchant needs consumers. Control the necessity, and you control the wealth. Even in personal life, the same principle applies. The man who can manage the emotions of others will gain their trust, and with trust comes access. Access to decisions, to opportunities, to resources. People will hand over what they value most when they feel secure, and the intelligent use that feeling to build quiet empires. They do not announce their power, they design it. The less visible their control, the stronger it becomes. Money does not serve those who chase it. It serves those who understand how to hide their pursuit behind purpose. The illusion that wealth equals morality keeps the powerful untouchable. Society teaches that the rich are disciplined, innovative, or blessed by fate. But the truth is simpler. They saw the levers before anyone else did. They learned that ownership of systems matters more than ownership of time. The poor sell their hours, the rich sell access. The poor trade sweat, the rich trade structure. In every transaction, one man is laboring while another is leveraging. One is building value, the other is capturing it. When you look at money as a reward for labor, you are already enslaved by the idea that someone else must grant it to you. You are waiting for permission to prosper. But when you see money as something that must obey you, as a force to be directed rather than earned, your mindset shifts from servant to master. The wise understand that real wealth is measured not by possession but by position. The one who stands above the flow of money can decide where it moves and when. He becomes invisible yet indispensable, the silent architect behind every transaction. To control wealth, one must first control information. Knowledge of timing, demand, fear, and desire forms the map that money follows. The powerful gather this knowledge not through study alone but through networks, alliances that feed them insight before the crowd can react. They never gamble, they calculate. They appear lucky only because they move before others can see the opportunity. The ignorant call it fortune, the intelligent know it is foresight. Those who truly understand money do not chase profit. They design conditions where profit becomes inevitable. They create systems that make people depend on their approval, their resources, their permission to act. Through taxes, credit, interest, and ownership, they bind the masses to invisible chains, each link polished with the illusion of choice, each chain disguised as opportunity. And while men fight for wages, they collect rents. While others debate fairness, they adjust the rules. This is the hidden truth. Wealth is not about what you earn, it is about what you govern. The builders of systems own the world, and those who work within them merely maintain it. The world teaches men to chase wealth, yet the wise understand that wealth never comes to those who lack power. The one who controls the conditions under which money is made controls those who make it. Money follows influence as a shadow follows the body. It obeys command, not effort. The powerful do not ask for opportunity. They create the environment where opportunity cannot exist without them. Prosperity is the echo of power, not its cause. To pursue riches before authority is to plant seeds in another man's field. The harvest will never be yours. Observe how men of strength approach wealth. They do not begin by working harder or saving more. They begin by establishing leverage, the ability to shape outcomes without direct labor. A man with leverage can move mountains with a whisper, while a man without it can shout his lungs out and remain unheard. Power bends the flow of money. Effort merely swims within it. It is not the trader who profits most, but the one who sets the market. It is not the soldier who wins, but the commander who decides when battles begin and when they end. In every society, power defines the meaning of wealth. When the powerful declare something valuable, the world agrees. They decide what is gold and what is dust, what is legal and what is forbidden. Through this control of definition, they create profit out of belief. When they say a piece of land is sacred, its price multiplies. When they announce a product essential, the crowd rushes to buy. This is not chance. It is the art of controlling perception, and perception is the true mint where all currency is forged. To rule perception is to print wealth from nothing. Men without power often mistake visible riches for success. They look at the symbols, cars, houses, titles, and assume these are the essence of strength. But such men are prisoners of appearance. The powerful understand that true wealth is invisible. It lies in control over resources, over people, over narratives. You can strip a man of his possessions, but not of his influence if it is built deep enough. He will rebuild what was lost, because he never depended on what was visible. His strength lies in networks, in information, in loyalty bought not with coins but with calculated favor. The order of creation is always the same: first command, then capital. Those who reverse it, chasing money before mastery, become servants to their own ambition. They work for those who already have the authority to shape the world's rules. A ruler without gold can soon have gold. A rich man without influence will soon lose both. For what is wealth without protection, without access, without control over one's own fate? Power shields and multiplies riches. Wealth without power invites predators. Even in the smallest interactions, the same law applies. The man who commands attention, who makes others wait for his approval, already holds a form of currency greater than money. Every decision deferred to him becomes a transaction that adds to his worth. Others begin to orbit around his authority, seeking his guidance, his signature, his blessing. In this way, power transforms into prosperity naturally, effortlessly. He need not demand payment. The world will bring it to his feet as tribute for the stability he provides. People pay for certainty, and power gives certainty its face. In the corridors of influence, those who understand this principle never reveal the extent of their control. They move softly, allowing others to believe they are the source of their own success. The politician lets the crowd think their vote decides. The merchant lets the buyer feel free in choice. The leader allows subordinates to think they advise him. But beneath these illusions, the strings are held firmly. Those who control outcomes never need to display dominance. they merely need to ensure dependence. When dependence deepens, wealth follows like water seeking gravity. Power also determines access, the invisible gate that decides who may profit and who must plead. A man may have skill, but without power, his skill feeds another's ambition. The gatekeeper always earns more than the guest. To possess influence is to hold the keys to opportunity, to decide who may enter the garden of wealth and who must remain outside the wall. Many strive to grow their fortune, yet the wise first seek to own the gate. Once you own the gate, every traveler pays you passage. You no longer pursue prosperity, it walks to you willingly, bound by need. The world disguises this truth in moral clothing. It tells men to be content, to labor honestly, to wait for fairness. These are lessons for the obedient, not for the rulers of fortune. Fairness is a tool used to pacify the powerless. Those who rise above it see that the laws of wealth are written by those who already hold command. When they change those laws, they change the distribution of riches overnight. A signature, a decree, a regulation. These are acts of power that transfer fortunes without a single coin exchanged. Understanding this separates the wise from the wishful. In private life, too, power precedes prosperity. Within families, workplaces, or friendships, the one who sets the tone owns the dynamic. If others adjust themselves to your rhythm, you already hold authority. From that authority, opportunities emerge. Trust, influence, partnership, reward. Those who fail to claim such authority become tools for others' ambitions. They work within systems designed by someone else's will. To possess wealth without command is to be a custodian, not a master. The true owner of riches is always the one who decides their use. Power attracts wealth because it commands belief. People trust those who appear in control, and trust itself is a currency that multiplies capital. Investors follow confidence. Followers obey presence. When a man radiates certainty, others will lend him their labor, their time, their money, hoping to share in the orbit of his strength. The powerful need not ask for investment. They become the investment. Their name becomes a brand, their silence a signal, their gesture a market shift. When the world waits for your move before making its own, prosperity is inevitable. To understand this law is to see that every fortune begins in influence. The man who learns to command others' attention, loyalty, and fear need not chase riches, they will chase him. He shapes value by decree, not by demand. And as long as his authority endures, so does his prosperity, multiplying quietly beneath the illusion that money is the cause when it has only ever been the consequence. Most men believe generosity is a virtue, a reflection of kindness or moral strength. They imagine that giving freely wins hearts and admiration. But true power uses generosity not as kindness, but as calculation. Every gift carries a hook. Every favor hides a purpose. Generosity, when understood properly, is a subtle form of control, a way to bind others through gratitude, expectation, and silent debt. To the wise, giving is not loss, it is investment in influence. The ignorant give to feel good. The powerful give to own what they give away. When a man receives a gift, he rarely feels equal afterward. Gratitude becomes a chain, invisible yet heavy. He tells himself he will repay, but repayment never fully erases the imbalance. The giver now occupies a higher place, even if both pretend otherwise. That sense of indebtedness breeds loyalty far stronger than any contract. Men break laws, betray promises, and change allegiances easily. But they hesitate to betray someone to whom they owe a kindness. The memory of generosity clouds their judgment, reshaping duty into devotion. What appears to be compassion is, in truth, psychological capture. The clever ruler or strategist understands this instinct deeply. He does not give to all, he gives precisely. His gifts are not scattered like seeds in the wind, but planted carefully in the soil of ambition. He gives to those whose loyalty will strengthen his reach, whose gratitude will silence rebellion, whose dependence will ensure obedience. A calculated act of generosity can turn an enemy into a servant, a rival into a supporter, a crowd into followers. The key is not the size of the gift, but the timing and intent behind it. A coin given at the right moment can buy a kingdom's worth of loyalty. There is also power in public generosity. When a man gives openly, he shapes his reputation in the eyes of many. People mistake generosity for virtue, and virtue for trustworthiness. The wise use this illusion to cloak ambition. By appearing noble and selfless, they draw admiration, which quickly becomes faith. Faith grants influence, and influence leads to wealth and authority. The world rewards appearances more than intentions. Thus, the public act of giving becomes a form of propaganda, a stage on which power performs humility to disguise control. The most effective generosity is one that breeds dependence. The giver must ensure that the receiver cannot easily do without him. It is not enough to give once. The gift must create need for future gifts. The merchant who lends at low interest, the ruler who provides bread to the hungry, the leader who offers guidance to the lost. All appear benevolent, yet each ensures that those who receive cannot function without their continued support. This is how rulers maintain loyalty without force. Dependency is a leash that requires no chains. Those who depend on your generosity will defend you even against their own interest, because they believe their survival is tied to your goodwill. The powerful also understand the importance of rhythm in generosity. Give too often and your gifts lose value. Give too rarely and loyalty fades. True mastery lies in balance, providing just enough to sustain dependence without granting full independence. The giver must always appear as the rescuer, never as the equal. If the receiver ever feels self-sufficient, the spell is broken. Therefore, every act of generosity must be followed by a reminder of who made it possible. Sometimes a word, sometimes silence, sometimes the simple act of waiting for gratitude. Each gesture reinforces the hierarchy between benefactor and beneficiary. There is a darker side to this art: generosity as manipulation. The shrewd give to provoke guilt, to confuse opposition, or to disarm suspicion. When an enemy expects attack, offer him a gift instead. His guard will lower, his perception will blur, he will wonder if he misjudged you, and in that moment of doubt, you regain control. The act of unexpected generosity is one of the most strategic weapons in human relations. It creates a psychological debt that no defense can block. The victim feels kindness where he expected hostility, and confusion weakens resistance faster than confrontation. In politics, in business, in personal alliances, the same rule applies. Generosity shifts balance. A single well-placed favor can rewrite the hierarchy between two men. When you give to someone proud, you humble him. When you give to someone weak, you own him. The proud resent their need but still submit to it. The weak celebrate it but never escape it. Both remain bound. Thus, generosity becomes a subtle form of dominance that few recognize. The giver appears merciful, but in truth, he tightens the web of control. Even silence can be a form of generosity. When the powerful choose to forgive an offense, they appear magnanimous. But what looks like mercy is often strategy. Forgiveness creates a sense of debt far stronger than punishment. A punished man hates his punisher. A forgiven man chains himself with guilt. Mercy builds a kind of loyalty that fear alone cannot. Through calculated restraint, the powerful gain more from what they do not do than from what they do. To spare when you could destroy is the highest form of control disguised as compassion. Generosity can also buy time. When surrounded by rivals, a wise man offers gifts to stall hostility. While others count coins, he counts opportunities. The gift delays attack, softens resentment, and grants space to maneuver. It is a temporary peace purchased with the illusion of goodwill. Many have survived storms not by fighting, but by feeding their enemies with crumbs of generosity until their strength returned. The world sees kindness, only the giver knows it was armor. True masters of this art never reveal the cost of their generosity. They make it seem effortless, natural, born of abundance. In truth, every gift is weighed like a weapon before use. They study the receiver's pride, desire, and weakness, then choose the precise form of generosity that will strike deepest. A compliment, a favor, a coin, a pardon, each is a tool for shaping human behavior. The act itself matters little. What matters is how the receiver feels after it. Gratitude, guilt, admiration, dependence. These are the currencies that make generosity more profitable than greed. The masses admire the open hand. They never see the mind behind it. They call the generous man noble, because they do not understand that generosity, when used wisely, does not empty the giver's purse. It fills his throne. The world has always misunderstood the relationship between humility and power. Most men believe that modesty is a virtue belonging to the meek, that those who speak softly are without ambition. Yet the truly ambitious know that modesty is not weakness, it is armor. Power that hides itself survives longer than power that demands recognition. The loud man provokes envy and opposition, but the quiet one advances unseen, shaping outcomes before others even realize he is moving. To appear modest is not to lack desire. It is to conceal it until the moment it can no longer be resisted. Ambition, when declared openly, awakens enemies. The world fears the man who wants too much, and it unites quickly against him. But the man who cloaks his hunger in humility disarms suspicion. He lets others underestimate him, and in that underestimation lies his greatest advantage. When rivals believe you harmless, they expose their weakness freely. When they believe you content, they stop guarding their position. Modesty is not surrender, it is camouflage. The ambitious man uses it to operate behind the illusion of simplicity while constructing the foundation of control beneath the surface. The art of power is the art of patience. A man who desires wealth or influence must first learn to appear indifferent to both. The moment he shows desperation, he loses leverage. Those who want openly are easily manipulated. They become predictable, transparent, and vulnerable. But the one who hides his ambition becomes unreadable. He lets others project their assumptions upon him, and every assumption serves as a shield. They will call him calm, wise, loyal, words that disarm before they imprison. Meanwhile, he studies them, learning their habits, their pride, their faults. When the time comes, he moves with precision, and no one sees the strike until it is complete. Modesty also serves as a tool for control. When a powerful man downplays his strength, others grow comfortable in his presence. They relax their caution and begin to trust him. That trust becomes the doorway through which influence enters. People are more easily led by those who seem humble than by those who demand obedience. Authority gained through modesty feels voluntary, not imposed. The follower believes he acts by his own choice, never realizing that his will was shaped by the one he admires for his supposed humility. Thus, modesty becomes the softest and most effective form of domination. There is a peculiar strength in appearing smaller than you are. It draws out the vanity of others. They will speak more freely, reveal their secrets, and expose their ambitions because they do not see you as a threat. They imagine you beneath them, and in that arrogance, they grant you knowledge no open conqueror could obtain. The wise feed on this arrogance quietly, letting others reveal the very tools that will one day undo them. A concealed ambition grows stronger in silence, nourished by the blindness of those who believe they see clearly. Modesty, when genuine in appearance but strategic in purpose, can also silence critics. The public forgives ambition when it is wrapped in humility. A man who rises while claiming no intention to do so wins sympathy instead of envy. He can take power while pretending to resist it. The crowd will say he was chosen, not that he sought. They will protect him, believing they are defending virtue, while he solidifies his rule behind their faith. History remembers such men as reluctant leaders, when in truth they were architects of every step that led them to the throne. In the world of wealth, modesty plays the same role. Those who display luxury invite jealousy and scrutiny. They become targets of resentment and regulation. But those who appear simple, frugal, and grounded conceal their fortunes in plain sight. They allow others to believe they are ordinary, while their assets grow silently through channels unseen. The richest man in the room is often the one least eager to prove it. His restraint is not moral but tactical. He knows that wealth flaunted becomes a burden, wealth hidden becomes freedom. The practice of modesty also creates contrast, and contrast amplifies impact. When a quiet man finally speaks, his words carry more weight. When a seemingly humble figure acts decisively, his actions shock the world. Silence gives strength to speech. Restraint gives force to movement. Those who are always loud lose attention quickly, but those who wait command it completely when they choose to use it. This is why the patient strategist uses modesty as a form of preparation. It builds expectation in others without revealing intent. There is also a spiritual disguise to modesty. People believe that humility equals morality, and morality invites loyalty. When a leader appears humble, followers project their ideals onto him. They convince themselves that he represents justice, fairness, or wisdom. He does not need to claim virtue, they assign it to him. In this way, modesty manufactures moral authority. And once people trust your virtue, they no longer question your motives. They will defend your decisions blindly, even when those decisions serve your hidden ambition. The illusion of goodness is stronger than the reality of greed. The appearance of modesty protects against downfall. When power inevitably stirs envy, the modest man escapes hatred by seeming undeserving of blame. Others destroy themselves competing for attention, while he continues unchallenged. Even when he is discovered, his previous restraint earns forgiveness. People will say, he never asked for power, it was given to him. They will justify his position because he never seemed hungry for it. In truth, he hungered deeply. But hunger concealed is hunger that cannot be attacked. Ambition hidden behind modesty also allows adaptability. The man who appears humble can approach both rulers and servants without offense. He can learn from every level of society because he threatens none. His access becomes limitless, and with access comes understanding. Those who demand recognition close doors, those who pretend humility open them. Every room welcomes the man who does not compete for dominance, unaware that he gathers strength from every entrance. By the time his ambition becomes visible, it is already irreversible, supported by alliances built in silence and respect earned through restraint. To master the art of hidden ambition is to master the rhythm of power itself. For the world belongs not to those who shout their desires, but to those who whisper them beneath the noise of others. The appearance of modesty is not the absence of hunger. It is hunger disciplined, focused, and waiting. Money is not meant to rest. It is a force that loses strength the moment it stops moving. The foolish man hoards it, stacking coins as if stillness was safety. He believes possession is power, yet his wealth decays in silence while he admires it. The wise man understands that money, like authority, must circulate to maintain dominance. It must be set to work, quietly and constantly, generating more of itself while its master observes from a distance. True wealth is not measured by accumulation, but by activity, by how many unseen hands your money moves, how many decisions it influences, and how much of the world bends to its rhythm without realizing it. To let money rule silently is to convert it from substance into structure. The coins themselves are meaningless. They are symbols of command. When you spend, invest, or lend, you are not losing money. You are extending control. Each transaction is a thread in the web of influence. The borrower becomes indebted, the partner becomes dependent, the enterprise becomes loyal to the hand that funds it. In this way, money ceases to be a possession and becomes an instrument of governance. You no longer need to appear powerful. Your capital does the speaking in your absence. The man who understands this never flaunts his fortune, because his wealth works for him even when he is unseen. The idle rich are never truly rich. They possess gold but not mastery. Their wealth sits stagnant in vaults, serving no purpose but comfort. Comfort is the death of power. The man who seeks only safety from his fortune ends up enslaved by it, guarding it like a servant guards treasure that does not belong to him. But the strategist treats money as a general treats soldiers, never resting, always in motion. Some are sent to conquer new ground, some to defend positions, others to die so that more may rise. Every coin must have a mission, and every mission must serve a larger design. Money in motion multiplies through connection. A single investment can create a network of obedience: the worker who depends on the wage, the manager who depends on the job, the community that depends on the employer. The one who controls the source of payment controls all behavior tied to it. This is why the powerful rarely handle money directly. They delegate its movement through institutions, corporations, or intermediaries. They remain invisible while their influence grows. Their name may not appear, but their reach can be felt in the decisions of thousands who owe their stability to a stream of capital that originates from a single unseen source. To make money rule silently is also to master timing. The fool invests in noise, in what everyone praises, in what already shines. The wise invest in shadows, in what others ignore, in what is yet to be. He sees the world not as it is, but as it will become. He plants money like seeds in barren soil, knowing that one day the world will pay to harvest what he already owns. By then, his fortune will have grown not through chance, but through foresight. This foresight, mistaken by the crowd as luck, is merely the patience of one who knows how to let money act before men understand its direction. Wealth that rules silently also commands loyalty more effectively than promises or threats. When people depend on your money, even without realizing it, they defend your interests automatically. They become your protectors without orders. The journalist who fears losing funding, the worker who fears losing employment, the politician who fears losing support, all serve the same master, though none may know his face. This is the true art of economic power: to influence without appearing to interfere, to own without showing ownership, to command through necessity rather than declaration. The quiet investor governs the noisy world. There is danger in visibility. The man who boasts of his wealth becomes a target for resentment, taxation, and manipulation. But the one whose money moves unseen remains untouchable. His influence cannot be traced to his name. His power cannot be measured by his possessions. He may appear modest, even struggling, while his investments shape the destinies of those who mock him. Discretion is the fortress of lasting wealth. Those who build empires in silence never need to defend them publicly. Their control is woven into systems too complex to unravel, too vast to confront. To keep money working requires intelligence, not greed. It is not the act of constant spending, but of constant strategy. Each use of capital must expand territory, whether that territory is financial, social, or psychological. Money can buy land, but it can also buy influence. It can buy silence, loyalty, or access. Used wisely, it creates alliances that outlive contracts. The foolish man spends to display, the wise man spends to embed. He does not scatter gold, he plants it in people, in institutions, in opportunities that reproduce his power endlessly. Idle money invites decay because it ceases to serve purpose. Inflation erodes it, time diminishes it, and stagnation wastes it. But active money evolves. It travels across borders, changes form, and returns multiplied. The wise keep their wealth alive by diversifying its paths. One stream funding trade, another shaping politics, another investing in minds that will one day owe their success to him. Through this movement, money ceases to be an object and becomes a living organism, growing stronger with every interaction. The silent rule of money lies in detachment. You must never appear desperate to hold it. Those who clutch money too tightly lose the ability to command it. Money respects authority, not affection. It flees from fear and flows toward confidence. Treat it as a servant, and it will obey. Treat it as a master, and it will enslave you. The calm strategist releases it into the world with precision, knowing it will return greater and more loyal. His wealth expands in absence because it is guided by invisible discipline, not by visible display. Power built on capital must not be loud, because loud power provokes. True financial dominance is quiet, steady, and inevitable. It shapes the rules others must play by while pretending to be part of the same game. Those who let their money rest are governed by those who keep theirs in motion. Money, when alive, is a mind without mercy. It serves only those who command it to move.